Okay.
Hey Debbie, how you doing today?
Oh, just fine, Grim. How are you?
Good, good, thank you. Well, I think maybe we should just get started and talk to these lovely people out here about a little bit of research that we've just finished doing.
Sounds
Go
good.
ahead and read the first page if you want to kick it
Okay.
off.
Oops, hold on.
Saved by the bell. I'll get on it. Dr. Marcia Angel, excuse me, of Harvard Medical School and former editor in chief of the prestigious New England Journal of Medicine, has cried enough when it comes to clinical trials and also to untrustworthy sponsorship of new drugs by individual professionals and health bodies. I quote, "It is simply no longer possible to believe much of the clinical research that is published or to rely on the judgment of trusted physicians or authoritative medical guidelines. I take no pleasure in this conclusion, which I reached slowly and reluctantly over my 2 decades as editor of the New England Journal of Medicine." In fact, Angel went further. She published an article in the New York Review of Books entitled "Drug Companies and Doctors: A Story of Corruption." Now, if Debbie's still on the phone, I'm going to go ahead and point to a bicarbonate increases tumor pH and inhibits spontaneous metastasis, a study
I'm back.
published in PubMed. And in this study, it's clear that there's a positive relationship to the treatment of sodium bicarbonate and cancer by its, um, excuse me, I ran onto a citation, by its ability to selectively increase the pH of tumors and reduce the formation of spontaneous metastasis in mouse models of metastatic breast cancer. Excuse me, metastatic breast cancer. So, it's a good thing somebody's doing the studies. So let's all take another look at this study entitled "The Alkaline Diet: Is There Evidence That an Alkaline pH Diet Benefits Health?" And in this study, there was a lot of data here, a lot of data that showed positive relationship in so many different aspects of health. And what I wanted to point out most importantly was number 7, alkalinity in chemotherapy. Now, the effectiveness of chemotherapeutic agents is markedly influenced by pH, is their um, uh, first sentence in this statement. So, numerous agents such as blah 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 blah, I don't need to know how to pronounce these chemicals, require alkaline media to be more effective. Others, such as blah 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 and blah 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 and blah blah blah, more chemicals, are more cytotoxic and an acid media. And citations get you to where you need to be there and there. Um, so blah blah blah. Interstellar pH shifts higher. More alkaline chemotherapy may reflect response to chemotherapy. So it's showing basically that the sodium bicarbonate um, show resulted in improvement in therapeutic effectiveness. All right. So another interesting point would be, well, is it the chemotherapy drugs that are effective, or is it actually the sodium bicarbonate that helps these chemotherapy drugs show temporary effectiveness?
Especially in light of the independent studies that you just showed from
Exact.
PubMed, in which only sodium bicarbonate was utilized.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you. So, in light of evidence that clearly supports that, and more evidence that supports the use of it and reflects therapeutic effectiveness, and it's not my words, it's in the study, right? Then how can I take for granted that it's the chemotherapy that's doing the positive inhibiting of spontaneous how do you say that again? I'm just kidding. Metastasis. It's such a
Yeah.
hard word to say when you're trying to say things fast. So
Well, and just
anyway,
let me add
I'm
one.
gonna let you go ahead and run the next line of thought, because here we are at the next line of thought. Go ahead with Dr. Sirkis.
Okay. Yes. Dr. Sirkis here in this write-up indicates that he was very excited when he found out that through clinicaltrials.gov, which is a NIH-run government-paid testing clinical trial testing database, where they pay our money to universities to run medical trials, that Dr. Sirkis is commenting that he was really happy to hear that Dr. Mark Pagel of the University of Arizona Cancer Center was in receipt of a $2 million grant from NIH in order to study the effectiveness of specifically baking soda cancer treatment, in this case for breast cancer. He was excited at the time he wrote this back in 2012 to see that they had set up the clinical trial. They were going to actually do it. And so
this guy, Mark Sirkis, this guy was excited that this guy was going to receive the grant. Just to clarify it for people, because you're going to get information later you'll understand why I wanted to clarify. This was the Mr. Excited and happy and willing to see the real results of the study. And this is the Mr. got the money for the study, and you'll find out the results in a minute of what's going to... what do you call it when you ruin the end of a story? Spoiler alert? I don't want to spoil it. So go ahead. Sorry. I got excited.
So we looked up this study that was sponsored and paid for by the American people under clinicaltrials.gov, NIH sponsored. This is the study that Grim is showing here. And we noticed right off that it was completed and had been completed for a couple of years. So we thought, cool, let's see the results that they got from their study of exactly the same thing that we've already seen on PubMed.
Nothing. Nothing posted. Nothing posted. No results posted. See this?
In fact, if you look, if you look at more detail under when they show that there's no results posted, but the study is complete, you find out clinicaltrials.gov actually states that they received the results, but that they haven't posted. They don't post it. And if you want to know what the results are, you have to contact the institution that actually ran the study, in this case, University of Arizona Medical Center. So in a sense, you have to go, you paid for the study, but you have to go beg it off of them.
That's right. And so I decided to check out what's going on in the University of Arizona Cancer Center page on Mr. Smarty Marty, Pagel, Beagle. And I scroll down and I'm reading about his very accomplished life in the world of shillery. And first thing Debbie noticed, actually, was 2001, Senior Research Scientist, Monsanto Company. Biochemical Engineering Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry,
Pharmacia
Corp. Yeah. And would you say about, what was it, Bayer or something? I didn't even see it.
Pfizer. Pfizer took over that. What he was involved with at Monsanto, Pfizer took it over at one point. Yeah.
So he's literally the shill, and we're wondering, all right, let's go check his biography before I make that claim, bibliography, so I can see the work he's done here. Maybe he published.
Keeping in mind that obviously, if he, being his affiliation with Monsanto and Pfizer, if he had found results in his Bicarb study that would have promoted Big Pharma, he would have published it. All right, right? So go ahead, Graham. You looked it up, all his published studies.
Right. It's not there. So he didn't, even though it's a completed study and he got $2 million in public money, I don't see the published results of this study anywhere. I'm
Nope.
having a hard time with this because that's my study. Where's my study?
You paid for it. Mhm.
Where's my money then? Just give it back. What's going on? So maybe it's somewhere else. I don't know where to find it. But, I've looked through its identification numbers, and all I can find on the internet is this.
Now you've looked through all 88 of those studies, and
Yeah.
I
Well,
know
I'm
I
on
looked
page
at it
9 here. I've looked through all of the studies, and I looked with you as I scrolled them through, and they're not there. So they're hiding this data. It's what it looks like. I don't want to say that, what their reasons are or whatever, but it's obvious. These are these are all studies that support pharmaceutical, chemicals and MRI, techniques and things like for making money. All of this is about making money.
Well, yeah, all the ones that are published about pH studies are just all they are methods of detecting pH
As a
in untreated
biomarker.
cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a biomarker,
So
which is an admission that the pH is different.
is a relationship. Yeah. It
but
shows
it's not
relationship for sure.
exactly.
And so, we can make this one quick. But you want to summarize exactly all the points real quick again for everybody, just in a quick.
Sure. The points so far here, and we could make more, but that's for a later video, is that basically clinicaltrials.gov, number one, does not publish results. We pay for it, but they don't publish results. They store the information. They admit they get it. They receive the results, but they do not make it available. They make you go back to the institution. Number one. Number two, when it comes to looking at the effectiveness of sodium bicarbonate intravenously utilized in order to change pH in such a way that it affects the cancer but does not affect you in a negative way.
Mm-hmm.
There are studies, we know there are studies under PubMed and other independent journals which clearly show all the steps that they take and the results that they get. But the one study that was done by the government, sponsored by the government, is not showing us the results. And the final summary, the person in charge of that study did not even publish it directly himself that we can find.
That is a very good summary of events. And with that, I'm going to tell everybody to keep your eye open. The truth isn't going to be popular. Remember that. And keep your head up. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.